this. Like if you get everything that he talks about, it's probably about $70. And he says you can just do the most important things and kind of add on later. I know this wasn't like a, I really don't have this like, oh, this one thing is the best thing, because I use a bunch of stuff. I think we have to for now. Though with Robert Duncan's prototype coming out for stopping V2K, a lot of things, a lot of different things coming out. There may be, this look out for Charlie's, stop the targeting symptoms could be a huge one where it's like a lot of people get a lot of relief. But Jason, it's like, and everybody, I use a lot of stuff. I try everything. I think that's what makes it. That's what that's what gives me a chance. That's why I'm not hurting so much all the time. Where I do have breaks where they're not giving me a break, where I've actually got stuff on and I've got defenses, is because I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try this and see if it works. And it's like some people are like, well, they're hitting me in the joints in my leg. They don't do that to me a lot. They hit me in the head a lot. They hit me in the chest a lot, or the back. So it's like we have, our targeters or attackers hit us in different spots. So you've got to kind of, if they hit you in the legs a lot, you may need to get something from Less EMF with a silverite, woven into it for your legs, and then maybe wear some Q-Wave defenders in your pockets. I'll tell you this much, this is a very good thing, and for men and women, they were hitting me in the groin a whole lot, just to where I couldn't even stand it. I have my Q-Wave defenders, but I have most of them on my upper body. They do make a field around your whole body, but the closer they are to where they're hitting, the stronger they'll be. And I have two in my pockets, one in each pocket. So they hit me in the groin really hard. So I got on a conference call, and a target individual was talking about how you can get those little scrubby pads. They're like these little copper scrubby pads that you scrub with in the kitchen. And you can block a lot of stuff out. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a bunch of that. I got a bunch of those, put them in a Ziploc bag and inside of a plastic bag, put them down my pants, right in front of the spot where they were hitting me in the groin. And they tried to hit there a little bit. It kind of hurt a little bit, but it was a good buffer, and so they stopped trying to hit me there. So a good thing for this, if you're getting hit in one spot of the body, is to deter, to get some kind of defense to block that part, so they'll go somewhere else, and then you can get rest for at least that one body part. And I guess that's a very convoluted answer, Jason. But y'all know me. I've been doing these videos for a while. I've told y'all what I used to defend, and I really think that it's a thin red line. It's a game of inches, and the more that you add, it's like the balaclava and the skull cap, they're thin materials, but it makes a big difference. It's like here now with just the hat. And I do have some hadron protectors going all the way around. They have shungite in them and silicone crystals, so it soaks up radiation. It's a good defense. But if I get this on, I put the balaclavas, the skull caps, and then I put my tinfoil tape helmet on, I'm pretty good. I break up that stream of energy. And then if I'm listening to Dave CD with it all, if I have time to be inside, I'm obviously not going to go outdoors with that. Because it looks crazy. It looks crazy, but it works. So when I'm inside and I'm alone, I'll use that. It is a little bit different. I do live alone. Some people have, they have wives who don't understand, or husbands that don't understand. So it's kind of about balancing things that do look okay. Some people have to do that. But if you live alone, and you can, wear some funny looking stuff sometimes, especially, if you're really in a bind. I find that, thick aluminum foil, Reynolds wrap aluminum foil, 75 foot, the wide kind, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Like yesterday they were hitting me, or for the last couple of days, they've been hitting me in the middle of the back. because I got the Q-Wave defenders on, so I'm kind of hunched over. I hunch over when I'm playing video games, and they hit me in the middle of the back where those muscles are strained. It seems to be effective when they hit you in a place where your muscles are kind of straining. And so yesterday I got tired of it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna just sit here and take those hits. It's sore, it hurts. So I just got some aluminum foil and I just wrapped it around like a little sash, and then I wrapped one around this side, and I just made a little kind of chest and back plate from aluminum foil, and it stopped it. So if you're really in a bind, that just straight up aluminum foil, get the thick kind. Dr. Horton, she gets it to where it looks a little bit nicer. She'll put it on cardboard and then she'll put some clear wrap around it so it doesn't bunch up and she's not breathing in aluminum. She does it a very smart way. We've got to do stuff like that. You could probably, build a little enclosure out of, aluminum foil on cardboard, with some, clear wrap around it, so you're not breathing in the aluminum, and make a little kind of a boxed in area, maybe 4 feet by 6 feet. It does. I mean, it's uncomfortable. My enclosure, it kind of sags down because that copper mesh is a little bit heavy. So sometimes I do feel a little bit scrunched in. You've got to kind of modify that as you go. If you're claustrophobic, you need to spread it out and get something to hold it up. But you've got to be creative, guys. You've got to be creative. There's not something that somebody can just give you and be like, hey, this is going to work for you and it'll fix everything. You got to be creative. You got to keep trying things. I find that what I'm doing now, I can do more. I'm going to try and do more defenses. But if I listen to Dave's CD, I wear the skull cap, the balaclava, this cap, and then sometimes put the helmet on, and then have my Q-Wave defenders on. Make sure those are charged. They work for me. I've experimented with them, taken them off. It's been different. Put them back on. It's been better. Because it's a Schumann resonance, solfeggio waves, and scalar waves that it puts out around your body, it really does work. And it's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so when you see that with electronic things that you're not sure of, that's a good idea because it says that the company's pretty sure that you're going to be satisfied with the results. And if you're not, you can send it back. I would not buy anything above $250 that is not a money-back guarantee. I just wouldn't do it. Because with this stuff, it's hard to know what's working. Nothing is like certified and just everybody's like, oh wow, well this works. Dave's CD is. You get on those calls, you talk to people. Aluminum foil works for everybody. We know that, but that's cheap. So just be careful when you're buying really expensive stuff. So when he asks, what's the best thing money can buy, I'd say a lot of little stuff. Something from Les Emo to put on. I'm probably going to do that next. I'm going to get like a little hoodie or shirt, to block my chest and my back. Then I'll have that head stuff. Then the Q-Wave defenders is my electronic defenses, the Altero whole house plugs. Dave is actually making a new plug, which I've said on my videos. I mean, there's so many things that when you put these things together, and especially when you combine them with cleansing this stuff out of our system, because the stuff that's going on with my body right now, even in day 4, I think this, I don't just think this guy knows what he's talking about. The guy knows what he's talking about. And I see it after day 4. Even if this doesn't stop it for me, my defenses are going to work better. So if we make ourselves less of an antenna, then these defenses are going to work a whole lot better. My Q-Wave defenders are going to work a lot better. The headgear is going to work a lot better. And I may not have to wear as much of it to feel comfortable. So I hope that answered your question, Jason. I knew I was going to do that on the video because I don't have just one thing, but I would just say, try stuff. You got to try stuff for your targeting. Our targeters use different frequencies. So some things are going to work for some people, some are not going to work for others. They may get around certain defenses, and then you've got to kind of adapt. I do know a good thing, the best thing, where a lot of smart TIs congregate, and there's always people on there, and they're troopers, they're soldiers, they are warriors. They're getting hurt, but they use things that help them to get through it, that buffer it down, and they get on those calls and they want to tell people about it to help them out. So those calls are a must do. I know that sometimes it's more people talking about their situation, but it's starting to be like the thing is, if something really works for the community, people are going to be talking about it on every call. So those it's a must do, and if you find something that really works for you, please get on the call and tell people about it, because there are a lot of people suffering. I think that so many things are coming out now. We're understanding more about it. So we're going to be able to find stuff that it's like, okay, well, this defense, let's that doesn't really work so good, but this one's better. We're going to understand more about it, and we are. Faith, God, pray to God and be like, God, give me some kind of defense. And even if you can't think of it, even if it's not just like your brain, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this and that and put this together, he'll lead you to somebody who can be like, this is something good for you. This can work for you, and make sure, these things where people they're giving out this information and they're like, I really want to help people. Here, try this cleansing thing. You go out, you don't spend a lot of money. Those are usually slam dunks. Dave giving out his CD, he's selling his plugs for like way, way cheap, just for parts. That's the kind of stuff you want to try, because those are good guys and they really want to help, and they understand that people are in pain, and they're really smart and they're working through it. I'm more of a, I haven't come up with anything, I haven't invented anything. I don't think I am. I'm a fantasy writer. That's what I want to do for life, and I write grants. So I'm not really an electrical engineer, but I can talk to the right people. I can find the right things. I can research products and research material. We're all smart enough to do that, even though you might not be able to invent some kind of device that puts out a shield around you. We're all capable of studying things, and look out for Charlie. He's tested this with 6 other TIs and himself. He's got proof of it, a proof of the junk that's coming off of him. He's got a lot of proof that it works. So we want to look for that. Dave CD, everybody's like, wow, this helps. It stops a lot of the remote neural manipulation. They can't target me as easy. It buffers out the V2K. He's got testimonials of this stuff working. So we want to look for stuff like that. And a lot of it's going to be experimental. Enclosures do work too. A lot of people, talk about them, not cure-alls, but these things are getting close. Dave CD's close. I think look out for Charlie's. Methods are going to be very close for me. To getting this down to where I can be pretty comfortable in my life and not be soaking up this energy. I think it's going to get me close. So in this next year, the way things work exponentially in all of humankind, as we've seen with this evil program exponentially getting worse, we're going to get there exponentially. We're going to find better things exponentially, and it's going to come, and we're going to find things that it's like, wow, that does work totally. So I hope this answered your question. I kind of want to wrap it up at 30 minutes, Jason. Thank you for your question, and I wanted to respond to you because you've supported my channel, guys. I'll try and answer your comments. I read them all. I get a lot of emails and comments. I'm dealing with my stuff too, so don't take it personally if it takes me a while. But I'm trying to get there, like all you guys. Actually, yeah, okay, I'm getting to about 30 minutes. I'll go to 45 minutes and do part 3. I really hate this because I'd rather talk for like an hour and 15 minutes if I wanted to and just put the whole thing up in one chunk. But I can't, my attackers on my computer have stopped me from, like, I was doing some editing projects for Ella. I did the Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe interview that she had, and I put it up on YouTube with pictures. which has I think 3,500 views. That's really good. And she wanted me to do some of the other interviews. I'd make the video. And it wouldn't let me turn it into a video file.